Hello, and welcome to the News in a Hurry for March 1st, 2013.
I'm William Welch, and this is my co-host, Travis Monster Goldfish Volker. Exploding ammunition being stored in an oven injured an 18-year-old Florida woman who was at her friend's house. The ammo, which can explode at temperatures as low as 280 degrees, exploded while the oven was preheating. The oven took most of the damage, and the unfortunate lady took a bus to the hospital.
A feral invasive species is wreaking havoc on the resort community of Lake Tahoe. Monster goldfish and several other invasive species have colonized the lake with the help of humans and are hurting the natural habitat. Experts have been fighting against invasive species in the lake for years.
The Curiosity rover on Mars completed a major milestone recently by drilling into the surface rock and collecting a sample. The tablespoon of powdered rock collected will be fed into the rover's onboard laboratory and analyzed. The sample will be analyzed both for its chemical makeup as well as the presence of any organic compounds. Researchers from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine have found that while mosquitoes are initially repelled by DEET, they can develop a tolerance for it. Scientists aren't 100% sure how the repellent works. There is some evidence to suggest that insects simply don't like the smell and that they can become desensitized to it after repeated exposures.
New research shows that the human brains differ from that of the rhesus monkey more than previously thought. Scientists have found that humans have at least two functional networks in their brain that the monkeys don't. The discovery was made by comparing brain scans between humans and the monkeys while they were watching a movie.
Mike Anderson, a fisherman in New Hampshire, caught more than he bargained for when his net pulled in a mammoth tooth in Rye Harbor. Fossil remains in that area are fairly common as the sea level was lower during the Ice Age and much of the continental shelf was dry and hospitable to mammoths.
Officials say that the Daytona 500 will proceed as planned even after a crash at the speedway injured 20 fans. The fence which was damaged has been repaired. Officials say that they will make any possible accommodations for fans who are seated in the affected area and are nervous about it, and they are currently discussing improvements which could be made to increase spectator safety.
A black Range Rover Sport and a Maserati exchanged gunfire in a deadly shootout as they cruised down the Vegas Strip. Rapper Kenny Clutch, as well as a taxi driver and his fare, are dead as a result. The cause of the altercation is unknown.
A Montana referendum could make it illegal for federal agents to take any law enforcement steps without first consulting the local sheriff. The author claims that the 10th Amendment to the Constitution gives the states the right to ignore federal criminality statutes as they deem appropriate. To date, the Supreme Court has not endorsed this interpretation. The law does have a few loopholes for cases such as hot pursuit or if the target of the action is a sheriff himself.
In October of last year, the Librarian of Congress decided that his interpretation of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act made unlocking cell phones illegal. The White House will now have to comment on the subject of handset unlocking, as a petition to allow it has reached 100,000 signatures. This petition is one of the first to reach the new limit, which was raised from its previous amount of 25,000 signatures.
After March 1st, you will no longer be able to receive Social Security or disability benefits by check. People receiving benefits can have them direct deposited or put on a debit card.
Anheuser-Busch has been named in a class action lawsuit for watering down its Budweiser, Michelob, and other beers. The suit, which is seeking millions in damages, comes from information obtained by former employees at the company's U.S. breweries.
Michael Winans Jr., family member of gospel music Winans family, has been sentenced to more than 13 years in prison for his involvement in a Ponzi scheme. Michael was selling fraudulent bonds even after he was aware that they were fraudulent and spending the money on personal expenses and to pay off earlier investors. Two-time Vietnam War Purple Heart recipient Chuck Hagel has been confirmed as Defense Secretary. The bipartisan vote overcame a Republican filibuster and a highly divisive nomination.
Hot air balloon flying is a popular attraction over Luxor, Egypt. Tragically, one of these balloons came crashing to the ground after a canister on board exploded. 18 died and 2 were hospitalized due to the incident.
Albert Lexie, who has worked as a shoe shiner at the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh for the last 32 years, has been donating his tips to the hospital. To date, he has donated $200,000 to the free care fund at the hospital, which helps parents who can't afford to pay for their child's health care.
And that's all for your news in a hurry. You can find our show notes in the description if you'd like to learn more about a story.
To suggest a story, you can find our email below, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the News in a Hurry.